I am currently dealing with finals in school and stuff like that. It is a lot. I am swamped. It is stressful. Having 5 major projects all due on the same day, that's a lot. I have to very carefully manage time and manage that there's a lot of things going on at the same time. I have appointments that I still have to do, still gotta work, still gotta be on top of all of the normal things like chores and friendships and family stuff and things like that. But at the same time, I gotta get all this schoolwork done. And time management is just huge for that. I also happen to have ADHD. And so focusing is not always the easiest thing for me. Because of that, it's not just only time management, but also controlling my environment when I am trying to do schoolwork is very important. I have to have very straightforward, repetitive routines so that I can ease into doing something. And it's almost like I've had to train myself. This training means that I always sit on the left side. I always go to the same spot or location. I always have to have a certain amount of either no noise or else put on headphones and listen to the same songs on repeat, like over and over and over. I have these methodologies for helping me to do things. How would I function without? Let's be real. How would I function? So it's really important to manage time and say, hey, I got to do this project. It's going to take me like 4 hours. Try to be realistic about how long it's going to take, and then block out when can I put that 4 hours of time. And then on top of that, you might not have 4 hours straight that you can use. So then you have to say, okay, when can I do this 2 hours and when can I do this 2 hours? And when would be a good stopping point on this project so that I'll be able to pick back up easily from where I left off. So for instance, one of my projects, I have to do a 10-minute speech and it has to have presentation slides. I wrote the speech is done, but I haven't made the slides yet. So I've done half the work, I gotta do the other half of the work, but the stopping place for me, the halfway point for me was, if you write the whole speech, then don't start the slides yet until you have time to do the slides properly and do it right. You can do the same thing with a lot of things. It doesn't have to be schoolwork. But that's what I have to do. I have to think, how much realistically in time am I going to need to do this probably? And then give myself a little leeway. Don't say, oh, I think I can get this done in 2 hours. If I say I probably need 2 hours, I try to, in my head, add at least another hour so that I give myself leeway. Because sometimes things take longer, sometimes emergencies come up, sometimes something happens that you weren't expecting. You get interrupted by life. B, you can get burned out. You can get tired. And every once in a while, you need breaks. We're human. We can't just go nonstop 24/7 and never need rest. And sometimes the thing that will make you get the best grade is taking a minute. When I'm doing schoolwork and I realize I'm so tired, I'm barely typing, I stop. Because my schoolwork's not going to be good quality. If I keep going, it's not going to be something I'd be proud to turn in. And so I need to get up, take a break, eat something probably, and come back and refocus with a new clear head and less stress in my body. The other thing is, with time management, due dates matter. So doing what is urgent is more important than doing what is easy. It might be like, oh yeah, I could get these little homeworks, just knock them out. They'll be all done fast, super easy. But if they're due later and this big giant project is due first, you need to work on the thing that's due first, even though it's daunting, even though it's a lot, even though sometimes it is time consuming. You need to do the thing that's urgent, not the thing that is the most comfortable. I also think having systematic rewards for yourself is a good thing too. So like I'm doing all this cool work, I'm working on all these projects and stuff, and then my reward is, for me, either something sweet, which I like sweet things. I try not to do that too much, but something sweet, or else attention. And I go show it off. I go say, hey, look, I worked on this project. And I will go show like a friend, or I'll go show my friend group or whatever. And the encouragement or the affirmations like mean way more than something sweet. And it's way more rewarding. And if I'm making a project and I'm working hard on it and I'm thinking, okay, when I bring this to school tomorrow, I'll go before I turn it in and show it here and see what people say, get some feedback. And sometimes it's, oh, this needs to change, or oh, this needs to be fixed. But for the most part, it's good. I'm okay with that feedback too, because honestly, it grows me to know, oh, hey, this needs adjustment. But most of the feedback's pretty positive. And so then that's super rewarding. That feels good. Attention feels good. Find the thing that feels good. Maybe it's you really like gifts, or you like presents. Take presents for yourself. Maybe you really love, traveling. Be like, okay, if I really get through this whole school quarter, then I'm going on this trip. And as you're going through the school quarter, your reward when you get done with these projects and things is to plan the next part. Oh, okay, here we go. I see this hotel has openings. There we go. I'll get that. Okay. Next time, oh, here we go. Here's the days that I'm going to be, going to this place. And then here's the day I'm going to go see this and go on an adventure here. You enjoy thinking about where you're going to go. Maybe your reward is some sort of hobby, and you give yourself, time allotments of, hey, for every hour I work on schoolwork, I get this much time toward my hobby. However you make the deal with yourself. But the really important thing is to keep promises you make to yourself. If you say, I'm going to get this project done by this day, you need to keep that promise to yourself so that you can trust yourself. And if you say, if I get this project done by this day, I get this reward, you need to follow through with that reward so that you can trust yourself. That's how you build confidence in yourself. You see that you're capable of something and you keep promises to it. So I have to keep those routines, those little, this is exactly how I'm going to do this, so that I'm well trained and I actually finish stuff, or else I will just be off on tangents and distracted and really struggle. That's time consuming in and of itself. Being distracted is such a time consumption. And then on top of that, set like little mini goals and set little mini rewards. Those two things help with time management so much. Not just knowing, hey, I'm probably going to need this many hours to do this, but knowing, hey, when I do this, I'm going to need this kind of motivation. It's really important when overwhelmed by a lot of projects or a lot of schoolwork all at once to make sure that part of the time management is scheduling breaks. It's just got to be part of it, because otherwise you will burn out and you will struggle. It helps you trust yourself more. So if you happen to be in college, you happen to be maybe at work, you're struggling with time management. Maybe at home, you're struggling with time management. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be school. These are things that I do to help me with mine, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to. But because I do all these things, I make good grades. And I can accomplish stuff. And I can do a lot of things. People are always like, man, you're always doing so much. How do you do so much? And it's because of these two things. I train myself to do things in similar ways so that it's like a manufacturing line. If you're doing things over and over in a similar way, it takes less energy to do it each time. And it gets done quicker each time. So as many things as possible that I can train myself to do it in the same way each time, I will do that. The second thing is be aware of how much time it's going to take and keep the promise to myself that I will do it in that time and I will get rewarded. Like, rewarding is very motivating. I think some people use anxiety as a motivation. Like they use fear of, oh no, if I don't get this in, I'm gonna fail or whatever. But to me, that's like a really stress laden kind of motivation, and the quality of work isn't as good. I also have a friend who's like, why don't you use AI more to do all of your schoolwork? And I thought about it a little bit, and I said, oh, I don't really do that. I like being creative. I enjoy being creative. But I thought about it a little bit, and I realized my real answer isn't just that I enjoy being creative, as much as that is true. My real answer is I've never really liked the stuff I've read from AI. If it's not important enough for me to write it, why would I consider it important enough for someone else to read it? Just being real. If someone else wrote a news article with AI and they didn't even consider it worth their time to write an actual article, why would I read the article? It's not going to be good. It's not going to have any emphasis or passion on any of the right things. It's going to be mediocre. Why would I waste my time with something so mediocre? And why would I want to turn in something that mediocre? That's how I feel. Now, AI can be good for like checking your math or things like that. Like, it's not like it's useless. But for writing in specific, it's just not a good idea. Yeah, sure, some time would be saved, but at what cost? Like, I wouldn't make anything worth making. And I like making things that are worth making. I like feeling proud of what I do. I find it fulfilling to make something and feel good about what I make. Like, that is a reward in and of itself. That's like giving my own self positive attention, because I was intentional with what I did. So I feel like I deserve it. And I like attention.